Dr. Alina Vasquez wiped sweat from her forehead as she bent over her microscope for the 100th time that day. The research station on Kepler-442b was supposed to be quiet, boring even, just her team studying plant samples and rock formations. On this distant planet, nothing exciting ever happened out here on the edge of known space. That was before the alarms started screaming. Alina rushed to the main deck where her colleague Dr. Chen was staring at the scanner readings with wide eyes. "There's something out there," he said, pointing at the screen. "Some kind of escape pod, and it's heading straight for us." The small metal pod crashed into the landing bay with a thunderous noise that shook the entire station. Alina's heart pounded as she suited up with the emergency response team. They had procedures for this kind of thing. Nobody expected to actually use them. When they pried open the pod, Alina's breath caught in her throat. Inside lay a woman, but not quite human. Her skin had a silver shimmer that caught the light, and strange markings ran along her arms that seemed to glow faintly. She was unconscious, breathing slowly and clearly injured. "Get her to the medical bay," Alina ordered, though something inside her chest felt tight and strange. She couldn't look away from the alien woman's face, which was both beautiful and completely foreign. In the medical bay, Alina found herself volunteering to be the primary caregiver. "I should monitor her," she told the team.
First contact protocols require careful observation.
But honestly, she just felt drawn to stay near. This mysterious visitor, the alien woman's wounds were unlike anything Alina had seen before. They seemed to pulse with a faint light, and when Alina touched them to clean them, she felt a jolt of something electric run through her fingers. It wasn't painful, but it was intense, like touching a live wire made of pure emotion. 4-3. Days Alina barely left the medical bay. She told herself it was scientific curiosity, but deep down she knew it was something more. Every time she checked the woman's vital signs or changed her bandages, she felt that same electric sensation. Sometimes she caught glimpses of things that weren't there, like flashes of a red sky or the sound of unfamiliar voices. On the 4th day, the alien woman's eyes opened. They were a deep purple color that seemed to shift and change like liquid. Alina was checking her temperature when those strange eyes focused on her face. "You," the woman whispered in accented English. "You've been here the whole time." Alina's hand was still on the woman's forehead, and suddenly the world exploded into sensation. She felt everything the alien woman was feeling: confusion, fear, pain, but also something warm and grateful. It was overwhelming, like being hit by a wave of pure emotion. Alina jerked her hand back, gasping. "What was that?" The alien woman sat up slowly, wincing. "My people call it the touch of understanding. It happens when we're vulnerable, and someone shows us kindness." She looked at Alina with those shifting purple eyes. "I'm Zara, and you've been taking care of me." "I'm Dr. Alina Vasquez," Alina managed, still feeling shaky from whatever had just happened. "How do you know English?" "We learn many languages in preparation for contact," Zara said softly. "But I never expected to need them like this." She touched the bandages on her arm, where Alina had been treating her wounds. "What you did when you cared for me, it created a connection between us. I can feel your emotions now, and you can feel mine." Alina's scientific mind raced. "That's impossible. Emotions aren't transferable between species." Zara gave her a sad smile. "Your science doesn't know everything about the universe yet." She closed her eyes for a moment. "Right now, you're curious, but also scared. You want to understand what's happening, but part of you wishes you could experience that connection again." Alina's cheeks burned because Zara was exactly right. The moment they'd shared had been intense and strange, but also somehow wonderful. She had felt truly understood for the first time in her life. "Is it permanent?" Alina asked quietly. "It will fade if we avoid contact," Zara said.
But
"If we keep touching, keep spending time together, it will grow stronger." She looked directly at Alina. "That's why I should probably be moved to a different part of the station. This kind of bond can become dangerous." But Alina didn't want Zara to be moved. The thought of losing this connection, of going back to her normal lonely life studying rocks and plants, felt unbearable. "What if I don't want it to fade?" Zara's expression grew serious. I don't understand what you're asking. My people have a saying. The touch of understanding can heal or destroy. Once the bond forms completely, it changes you forever. That night, Alina couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the warmth she'd felt when touching Zara, the way there. Emotions had mingled together. She found herself walking the halls of the station, and somehow her feet carried her back to the medical bay. Zara was awake, staring at the ceiling. I can feel you coming, she said without looking over. The connection is still there even from a distance. Alina sat down beside the medical bed. Tell me about your people. We come from a world where emotional bonds are sacred, Zara explained, but they're also rare. Most of us live our whole lives without finding someone we can truly connect with. She turned to look at Alina. What happened between us? It usually only occurs between members of our own species. So this is unusual even for you. Very unusual. Zara's voice was soft and very dangerous. Your people aren't designed for this kind of connection. It could overwhelm your mind. Lena reached out slowly and touched Zara's hand. Again, that electric feeling rushed through her, but this time she didn't pull away. She felt Zara's surprise. Her fear, but also something deeper, a longing that matched her own. Maybe some risks are worth taking, Alina whispered. Zara's fingers tightened around hers. You don't know what you're saying. Then show me, Alina said, surprised by her own boldness. Help me understand. For a long moment, they just sat there, holding hands, feeling the gentle pulse of connection between them. Lena had never experienced anything like it. This sense of being truly known by another person, of sharing something deeper than words. Finally, Zara spoke. If we continue down this path, there will be no going back. You'll be changed, and so will I. Are you prepared for that? Lena looked into those shifting purple eyes and felt her heart make the decision before her mind could object. Whatever you did to me when we first touched, whatever this connection is, I want to experience it again. I want to understand. Zara closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Then hold on, she whispered, because everything is about to change. As their connection deepened, Alina felt herself stepping into a larger universe than she'd ever imagined. One where the boundaries between self and other became beautifully, dangerously blurred. She had no idea that this moment would transform not just her life, but her very understanding of what it meant to be human. Alina couldn't concentrate on anything. 3 days had passed since her first real connection with Zara, and she found herself thinking about the alien woman constantly. During meetings, while analyzing samples, even while trying to sleep, Alina felt a constant pull toward the medical bay. Dr. Chen noticed her distraction during their morning briefing. Alina, are you listening? I asked about the mineral samples from Sector 7. Sorry, Alina mumbled, realizing she'd been staring out the window toward the medical wing. Could you repeat that? But her mind was elsewhere. She could actually feel Zara's presence, like a warm glow at the edge of her consciousness. Sometimes she caught flashes of emotion that weren't her own loneliness, worry, and something else she couldn't quite identify. That afternoon, Alina found an excuse to check on Zara's medical progress. The alien woman was sitting up in bed, looking much healthier than before. Her silver skin had regained its natural shimmer, and the glowing markings on her arms pulsed with a steady rhythm. You didn't need to come, Zara said without looking up. I can feel your approach from 3 corridors away now. Lena's heart skipped. The connection is getting stronger. Much stronger. Zara finally met her eyes. That's why I've been trying to block it, but it's difficult when you keep thinking about me. Alina felt her cheeks burn. You can read my thoughts? Not exactly, but I can feel your emotions and they're very loud. Zara's expression was gentle but concerned. Alina, this bond we're forming, it's not something my people enter into lightly. Once it's complete, we become linked for life. What does that mean exactly? Zara gestured for Alina to sit down. Imagine never being alone again. Always feeling what the other person feels. Their pain becomes your pain. Their joy becomes your joy. Some couples find it beautiful, but others find it overwhelming. Alina sat on the edge of the bed, carefully keeping some distance between them. And you think I can't handle it? I think you don't understand what you're asking for. Zara's voice was soft but firm. Your species values independence, individual thought. This bond makes that impossible.
Us.
Despite the warning, Alina found herself leaning closer. Tell me about your world. Help me understand. Zara was quiet for a long moment. My planet was called Coralia. It was beautiful once, with crystal cities and gardens that sang in the wind. Her markings dimmed slightly. But there was a war. My people's abilities made us valuable to both sides, and eventually we became targets. Alina felt a wave of sadness wash over her, though she wasn't sure if it was her own or Zara's. Is that why you were in the escape pod? I was part of a group trying to evacuate refugees. Our transport was attacked, and I was the only one who made it to the pods. Zara's voice became very quiet. Everyone I cared about is gone. Without thinking, Alina reached out and touched Zara's hand. The connection flared between them. And suddenly Alina could see flashes of what Zara had experienced: burning cities, people crying, the desperate rush to escape. The images were so vivid it felt like her own memories. I'm sorry, Alina whispered, not pulling her hand away. I'm so sorry you went through that. This is what I mean, Zara said, but she didn't remove her hand either. Now you're carrying my pain too. Is that really what you want? Alina considered this. The images had been terrible, but sharing them with Zara had also made her feel incredibly close to her. Maybe carrying someone's pain is better than carrying it alone. Zara's purple eyes widened. You really mean that? I do. Alina squeezed her hand gently. I've spent my whole life studying things from a distance, never really connecting with anything or anyone. This feeling we share, it's the first time I've felt truly alive. That night, Alina couldn't sleep at all. She lay in her bunk feeling restless and strange. Around midnight, she realized she could sense Zara's emotions clearly. The alien woman was having nightmares. Alina could feel waves of fear and sadness coming from the direction of the medical bay. Without hesitation, Alina got up and walked through the quiet corridors. She found Zara sitting up in bed, trembling slightly. Bad dreams? Alina asked softly. They're getting worse, Zara admitted. Being alone makes them harder to bear. On my world, we would never leave someone to face their nightmares alone, Alina climbed onto the bed and sat beside her. And don't face them alone. Alina, if I let you comfort me, if we deepen this connection, it will be much harder to break later. What if I don't want to break it? Zara turned to face her fully. You say that now, but what happens when your colleagues start noticing changes in you? What happens when you realize you can't live a normal human life anymore? Alina thought. About this seriously? Maybe a normal human life isn't what I want anymore? The bond changes people, Zara warned. You might develop some of our abilities, might start seeing the world differently. Your own people might fear you. And what about you? Alina asked. What do you risk by bonding with me? Zara's expression grew tender. I risk caring about someone again. I risk having something to lose. But I also risk finding a reason to keep living. Alina felt her heart ache with emotion, both her own and Zara's. We're both scared. Terrified, Zara agreed with a small smile. But we're also drawn to each other. Like gravity, Zara whispered. Alina moved closer until they were sitting side by side. What happens if we just let it happen? If we stop fighting it? I don't know, Zara said honestly. This kind of cross-species bond has never happened before. We'd be pioneers in unexplored territory. I like unexplored territory. That's why I became a scientist. Zara laughed softly. You're impossible. And you're beautiful, Alina said, surprised by her own boldness. The compliment hung in the air between them, and Alina felt a rush of warmth that seemed to come from both of them at once. Zara's markings brightened slightly, pulsing in sync with Alina's heartbeat. If we do this, Zara said carefully, we do it knowing the risks. We do it understanding that there's no going back. Alina nodded. I understand. And we do it slowly. Carefully, so we can adjust to the changes as they happen. Whatever you think is best. Zara reached out and touched Alina's face gently. The connection between them pulsed stronger, and Alina felt a deep sense of rightness, like coming home after a long journey. Then we'll see what happens, Zara said softly. Together. As they sat there in the quiet medical bay, Elena realized that her old life of careful observation and scientific detachment was already over. She was stepping into something unknown and potentially dangerous. For the first time in her life, she felt like she was exactly where she belonged. Outside, the stars continued their ancient dance, unaware that two beings from different worlds were writing a new chapter in the story of connection and love. Elena knew she was losing herself, but she couldn't bring herself to care. 2 weeks had passed since her first night comforting Zara, and every day the pull between them grew stronger. She found herself skipping meals, forgetting about research, deadlines, and spending hours just sitting with Zara in the medical bay. Dr. Chen cornered her after she missed another important meeting. "Elena, what's happening to you? You're not yourself lately." "I'm fine," Elena lied, though she could feel Zara's concern echoing in her mind from across the station. The alien woman was worried about how the bond was affecting Elena's work and relationships. "You're not fine," Chen insisted. "You look exhausted. You're behind on all your reports. And yesterday, I found you staring at nothing for 20 minutes straight." Elena wanted to explain about the vision she'd been having. Glimpses of Zara's memories that came without warning. She'd see flashes of crystal cities, feel the warmth of an alien sun, or hear the sound of Corallia's singing gardens. But how could she explain that to someone who'd never experienced anything like it? "I just need some time," Elena said weakly. That night, Elena found Zara waiting for her in the medical bay with a troubled expression. "We need to talk," Zara said as soon as Elena entered. "I can feel your worry from 3 decks away," Elena said, sitting down beside her. "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Zara said gently. "This bond is affecting you more than I expected. You're losing pieces of yourself." Elena felt defensive. "I'm not losing anything. I'm gaining something incredible." "Elena, you haven't slept properly in days. You barely eat. Your colleagues are starting to ask questions." Zara touched her face softly. "I can feel your exhaustion like it's my own." "Then help me handle it better," Elena said, leaning into the touch. "Teach me how to manage the connection?" Zara's expression grew sad. "That's just it. I don't think you can manage it. Human minds aren't designed for this kind of constant emotional sharing." Before Elena could respond, the station's communication system crackled to life. "All senior. Staff report to the main deck immediately. We have an incoming transmission from Earth Command." Elena's heart sank. She'd been dreading this moment. "They're going to want to take you away for study." "I know," Zara said quietly. "I've been expecting it." In the main briefing room, Commander Torres addressed the assembled team via hologram. "We've received your reports about the alien survivor. Earth Command is sending a specialized team to transport her to our xenobiology facility on Mars." Elena felt panic rise in her chest. "Sir, she's still recovering from her injuries. Moving her could be dangerous." "Dr. Vasquez, I understand your concern for your patient, but this is beyond medical care now. We need to understand her species' capabilities and potential threat level." Elena's hands clenched into fists. "She's not a threat. She's a refugee who's lost everything." Dr. Chen looked at her with surprise. "Elena, since when do you get emotionally involved with test subjects?" "She's not a test subject," Elena snapped. "She's a sentient being with feelings and rights." Commander Torres frowned. "Dr. Vasquez, your objectivity seems compromised. Perhaps Dr. Chen should take over her care." "No," Elena said firmly. "I'm the only one who understands her physiology. Moving her now could kill her." It was a lie, but Elena felt desperate. Thought of losing Zara, of having their connections severed, felt like losing a part of herself. Through their bond, she could feel Zara's fear and resignation. After the meeting, Elena rushed back to the medical bay. "We have to get you out of here," she told Zara. "Where would we go?" Zara asked calmly. "This is a space station in the middle of nowhere. The lower maintenance levels. There are storage areas where we could hide until we figure something out." Zara studied her face. "Elena, you're talking about throwing away your career, your life, everything you've worked for. None of that matters if I lose you." "Listen to yourself," Zara said softly. "This is exactly what I was afraid of. The bond is making you act irrationally. Alina felt tears forming. Maybe I don't want to be rational anymore. Maybe I want to feel something real for once in my life. That night, Alina helped Zara move to an abandoned storage area in the station's lower levels. The space was cramped and dim, but it was hidden from the main corridors. Alina brought blankets and food, trying to make it comfortable. This is temporary, Alina said, though she wasn't sure what their long-term plan could be. Just until the transport team leaves, Alina, Zara said gently. They're not going to just leave without me. Then we'll find another way. Alina sat down beside her. There has to be something we can do. In the confined space, their connection felt even stronger. Alina could feel Zara's emotions as clearly as her own, and she realized that the alien, a woman, was holding back, trying to protect Alina from the full intensity of their bond. Stop protecting me, Alina said. I want to feel everything you feel. That's not wise, Zara warned. If our connection becomes any stronger, it will be impossible. To break, good, Alina said, reaching for Zara's hands. I don't want it to break. Alina, please think about what you're asking. If we complete this bond, you'll never be fully human again. You'll develop abilities that your people won't understand. You'll be changed forever. Alina looked into Zara's shifting purple eyes. What if I want to be changed? What if I want to be something more than just human? The transformation is irreversible, Zara said quietly. And it's not always pleasant. You might see things, feel things that overwhelm your mind. Then help me through it, Alina said. Be with me through whatever happens. A long moment. If we do this, if we complete the bond, I won't be able to leave you. My people mate for life, and this connection would be the equivalent of marriage in your culture. I understand. Do you? Because once it's done, we'll be tied. Together forever? If one of us dies, the other will feel it. If we're separated, we'll both suffer. There's no going back. Alina felt a moment of doubt, but then she sensed Zara's deep loneliness and fear of abandonment. The alien woman had lost everything and everyone she'd ever cared about. Alina realized she was Zara's only chance at not spending the rest of her life alone. I've made my choice, Alina said firmly. Whatever you did to me before, whatever connection we've been building, I want you to complete it. I want to be bonded. To you completely. Zara's markings began to glow brighter. Are you absolutely certain? Because once I do this, there's no going back for either of us. I've never been more certain of anything in my life. Zara moved closer until they were sitting face to face. Then hold on to me, and don't let go no matter what happens. Alina gripped Zara's hands as the alien woman's markings began to pulse. With brilliant light, the connection between them suddenly exploded into something far more intense than anything Alina had experienced before. She felt her consciousness expanding, merging with Zara's, until she couldn't tell where she ended. And Zara began. When it was over, Alina realized she could sense things she'd never noticed before. She could feel the emotions of her colleagues several levels above them. She could hear sounds that had been too quiet before. And most importantly, she could feel Zara's presence like a warm constant in her mind. How do you feel? Zara asked. Softly, Alina looked at her hands and noticed they had a faint shimmer to them now. Different but complete. There's no going back now, Zara said. We're bonded for life. Alina smiled, feeling more at peace than she had in weeks. Good. Now let's figure out how to build a life together. Outside their hiding place, footsteps echoed in the corridor. Their time was running out, but Alina no longer felt afraid. Whatever came next, they would face it together. Alina woke up to the sound of heavy footsteps above their hiding place. Her new abilities made every sound crystal clear, and she could feel the aggressive emotions of the people searching for them. The transport team had arrived, and they weren't happy about finding an empty medical bay. They're getting closer, Alina whispered to Zara, who was sitting quietly in the corner of their makeshift shelter. I know, Zara said calmly. I can sense their intentions. They're not just here to transport me. They're here to study me, to find ways to use my people's abilities as weapons. Alina felt a chill run down her spine. Through their bond, she could sense the truth in Zara's words. How can you tell? One of them has been in contact with my people's enemies. I can feel the hatred in his mind. Zara's markings dimmed with worry. Alina, there's something else. They're not just hunting me anymore. They're hunting others like me. Before Alina could respond, the lights in their hiding place flickered and died. Emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in a red glow. The station's alarm system began blaring. "Attention all personnel," came Commander Torres's voice over the intercom. "We have multiple unknown vessels approaching the station. All staff report to emergency stations immediately." Alina's heart pounded. "The hunters?" "Yes," Zara said grimly. "They tracked me here. I'm sorry, Alina. I've brought danger to your people." Alina reached for Zara's hand, feeling the familiar warmth of their connection. "We'll figure this out together." But as they made their way through the station's corridors, Alina realized how much she had changed. She could sense the fear and confusion of every person they passed. The emotions hit her like waves, making her dizzy and disoriented. "It's too much," Alina gasped, stopping to lean against a wall. "All these feelings, all these thoughts."
Ow!
"Do you handle it?" "I have to learn to filter them," Zara said, supporting her. "Focus only on what's important. Right now, that's getting to safety." They reached the main deck to find chaos. The research team was scrambling to prepare defenses, but Alina could feel their terror. Through the viewing windows, she could see dark, angular ships surrounding the station. Dr. Chen spotted them and rushed over Alina. "Where have you been? And what's wrong with your eyes?" Alina touched her face, realizing that her eyes now had the same shifting quality as Zara's. "I'm fine," she said, though she could feel Chen's shock and fear. "You're not fine," Chen said, backing away slightly. "You look different? You feel different?" Alina realized that her transformation was visible to everyone now. The way her colleagues looked at her with fear and disgust made her heart ache. She was no longer one of them. "Dr. Vasquez," Commander Torres called out, "we need to know everything about our guest species. These attackers seem to be hunting her specifically." Alina felt Zara's tension spike. "They're called the Dominion," Alina said, the knowledge flowing through their bond. "They're a militaristic species that sees empathic abilities as a threat. To their control?" "How do you know that?" Torres asked suspiciously. Alina hesitated, then decided on honesty. "Because I'm bonded to Zara now. I can access her memories and knowledge." The room fell silent. Alina could feel the mixture of fear, fascination, and revulsion from her colleagues. She was no longer Dr. Alina Vasquez, respected scientist. She was something else, something they didn't understand. "That's impossible," Dr. Chen said. "Humans can't form psychic bonds with alien species." "Apparently we can," Alina said quietly. "And now I'm caught between two worlds." A massive impact shook the station. The Dominion ships had begun their attack. "We need to evacuate," Torres ordered. "All non-essential personnel to the escape pods," Wade, Alina said, feeling a surge of knowledge from Zara. "The Dominion ships have a weakness. Their shields can't handle certain frequencies. If we can modify our communications array." "How could you possibly know that?" Torres demanded. "Because I've seen it through Zara's memories," Alina explained. "Her people fought these same ships for years before they were defeated." Alina found herself in the strange position of being both human and alien, trusted by neither side completely. Her colleagues needed her knowledge, but they feared what she had become. Working alongside the station's engineer, Alina helped modify their defensive systems. Her new abilities allowed her to understand alien technology in ways that would have been impossible before. But every use of these abilities made her feel more distant from her human identity. "Alina," Zara said during a brief break in the battle, "I need to tell you something important. The bond between us, it's not just emotional, it's also physical. If something happens to me, you'll feel it as if it's happening to you." Elena's blood ran cold. "What do you mean?" "If I die, the shock could kill you too. And if you die, I won't survive the loss." Zara's voice was gentle, but serious. "That's why I tried to warn you about the bond. We're not just connected now. We're dependent on each other for survival." The weight of this revelation hit Alina hard. In her desire to connect with Zara, she had tied their fates together permanently. There was no going back, no way to undo what they had done. Another explosion rocked the station. Through the viewing windows, Alina could see that the Dominion ships were closing in. Their modified defenses were holding, but barely. There's something else, Zara said quietly. The Dominion isn't just here for me. They're here because they've learned that humans can bond with my people. They see your species as a potential threat now. Alina felt sick. You mean I've made my entire species a target? Not you specifically, Zara said. But yes, our bond has shown them that humans have the potential to develop empathic abilities. They'll want to study you to understand how it's possible. Lena looked around at her colleagues, realizing that she had inadvertently put them all in danger. Her desire for connection had consequences far beyond what she had imagined. We need to get you both out of here, Torres said, having overheard their conversation. If they want to study this bond, we can't let them capture either. Of you? Where would we go? Alina asked. They'll just follow us. There are colonies on the outer rim, Torres said. Places where humans and aliens live together. You might be safe there. Elena felt torn. Part of her wanted to stay and help defend the station, but she could feel Zara's fear and exhaustion. The alien woman had already lost one home to the Dominion. Alina couldn't bear the thought of her losing another. We'll go, Alina decided. But I want to help evacuate the station first. As they prepared to leave, Alina realized that she was no longer the same person who had first found Zara in that escape pod. The bond had changed her in ways she was still discovering. There was no going back to her old life. But looking at Zara, feeling the love and gratitude flowing through their connection, Alina knew she had made the right choice. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The question now was whether they could find a place in the universe where their kind of love could exist safely. 1 year later, Alina stood on the observation deck of New Haven Colony, watching the sunrise paint the sky in shades of purple and gold. This world was different from Earth, with 2 moons and crystal formations that sang in the wind. But it had become home in ways she never expected. The morning light suits you, Zara said, joining her at the window. Even after all this time, Alina still felt a flutter of happiness whenever Zara appeared. Their bond had deepened and matured, becoming less overwhelming and more like a constant, comforting presence. I was thinking about the research station, Alina said, leaning into Zara's embrace. About how terrified I was when everything fell apart. Do you regret leaving? Zara asked gently. Alina considered this. The evacuation had been chaotic and frightening. Many of her colleagues had made it to safety, but some had looked at her with fear and anger, blaming her for bringing danger too. Their peaceful research mission, Dr. Chen, had barely spoken to her during the evacuation, his fear of her transformation clear in every interaction. No, Alina said finally. I regret that people got hurt, but I don't regret choosing you. I don't regret choosing this life. Through their bond, she felt Zara's relief and love. Even now, the alien woman sometimes worried that Alina would wake up one day and realize what she had given up. A gentle chime announced an incoming message. Alina activated the communication panel to see Dr. Rivera, the colony's administrator, smiling at them from the screen. Alina, we have another family arriving today, Dr. Rivera said. A human engineer and her Zolonian partner. They're having trouble with the bonding process, and we hoped you could help them. Of course, Alina said immediately. Over the past year, she had become something of an expert in helping mixed couples navigate the challenges of interspecies relationships. Her scientific background, combined with her personal experience, made her uniquely qualified for the work. An hour later, Alina sat across from Jenna, a young engineer who looked exhausted and frightened. Her partner, Kex, was a tall, blue-skinned alien whose species communicated partly through bioluminescent patterns on their skin. I can't control it, Jenna said, her hands shaking. Every time Kex tries to connect with me, I get overwhelmed. It's like drowning in someone else's emotions. Alina recognized the symptoms immediately. How long have you been bonded? 3 weeks, Jenna said. But it's getting worse instead of better. Sometimes I can't even tell which thoughts are mine. Alina reached across the table and took Jenna's hand. Through her touch, she could sense the chaotic swirl of emotions and thoughts that the young woman was experiencing. It was exactly what Alina had gone through in those early days with Zara. The first thing you need to understand is that you're not losing yourself, Alina said calmly. You're expanding yourself. but it takes time to learn how to manage the expansion. How did you learn? Jenna asked desperately. Alina glanced at Zara, who was sitting nearby with Kex, helping the Zilonian understand human emotional responses. Practice, patience, and a lot of trust. But mostly, I learned to stop fighting it. Alina spent the next few hours teaching Jenna basic mental filtering techniques. She showed her how to create mental boundaries while still maintaining the connection, how to distinguish between her own emotions and her partner's, and most importantly, how to see the bond as a gift rather than a burden. It's like learning a new language, Alina explained. At first, all the words sound like noise, but gradually, you start to understand the patterns and meanings. By the end of the session, Jenna was visibly calmer. She and Kex were able to share a gentle connection without the overwhelming chaos that had been plaguing them. Thank you, Jenna said as they prepared to leave. I was starting to think I'd made a terrible mistake. You didn't make a mistake, Alina assured her. You made a choice to love someone different from yourself. That's always going to be challenging, but it's also beautiful. That evening, Alina and Zara walked through the colony's central garden. New Haven was home to dozens of mixed couples and their children, creating a unique community where difference was celebrated rather than feared. You're good at this work, Zara observed, helping others navigate what we went through. It gives me purpose, Alina said. When I was on the research station, I studied life from a distance. Now I'm helping create new kinds of life, new ways of being. They paused beside a fountain where children of various species were playing together. Some were fully human, others fully alien, and still others showed the blended characteristics of mixed heritage. Lena felt a deep sense of satisfaction watching them play without any awareness of the boundaries that divided their parents' original worlds. Do you ever think about having children? Zara asked quietly. Alina felt a flutter of surprise through their bond. Is that possible? For us? I mean, my people's medical knowledge suggests it might be, Zara said. The bond between us has changed your biology in ways we're still discovering. Our scientists think that with the right support, we could create a child that combines both our genetic patterns. Lena's heart raced with excitement and fear. A child who could bridge both our worlds. A child who could represent the future of interspecies cooperation. Zara agreed. That night, as they lay together in their home overlooking the colony, Alina reflected on how completely her life had changed. A year ago, she had been a lonely scientist studying rocks and plants. Now she was part of a pioneering community, helping to shape the future of human-alien relations. Zara Elena said softly, "Do you remember what I said to you that first night, when I asked you to do whatever you had done to me again?" "I remember," Zara said with a smile in her voice. I still feel that way," Elena said. "Every day I discover something new about our connection, something beautiful that I never expected. If I had to make the choice again, knowing everything I know now, I would still choose this." "Even knowing the price?" Zara asked. "Even knowing what you gave up?" Lena thought about her old life, her career, the colleagues who now feared her. Then she thought about the couples she had helped, the community they were building, the children playing in the garden who represented a future where love wasn't limited by species, especially knowing the price, Alina said firmly. "Because what we've built here, what we've become together, is worth more than anything I gave up." Through their bond, she felt Zara's deep contentment and love. They had found something that neither of them could have achieved alone, a way to bridge worlds, to create understanding where there had been fear, to build love where there had been division. Alina closed her eyes and reached out with her enhanced senses, feeling the gentle pulse of life throughout the colony. Dozens of couples, hundreds of individuals, all learning to live and love across the boundaries of species and culture. They were writing a new chapter in the story of what it meant to be conscious beings in a vast, connected universe. "You did to me," Alina whispered, echoing the words that had started their journey. "Thank you for doing it again, every single day." Outside their window, the two moons set over New Haven Colony, and somewhere in the distance, the crystal formations sang their ancient songs of connection and hope